So good morning to everyone and welcome to the PLASTIX webinar, which we call in a bit project-like language an interregional stakeholder meeting. We have around 60 to 70 people who have registered today, and let's hope that most of you and them can soon arrive. I'm Johanna Vannes from the Baltic Institute of Finland, the lead partner of the PLASTIX project, and I will just let you know in a couple of minutes what the project is all about and why we are having the webinar today. Our project works with the growing problem of plastic waste. We talk about its reusability, recyclability, replaceability, and the common aim of doing this is to move towards a more circular economy, work with the green transition. It's a 4-year project funded by the Interreg Europe program, and we have almost 3 years of work behind us and 1 year left. So we have interesting results to present to you already today, and then we still have 1 more year to work together and monitor the results we have achieved. The budget is about or a bit less than $2 million and euros. I don't know why I'm going to a different currency today. So a bit less than 2 million euros is the budget, and we have 13 partners, which are shown here on this slide. As I said, we from the Baltic Institute of Finland are leading the project. We also have another Finnish partner, the Council of Tampere region. From Sweden, we have Paper Province from Värmland. Then from the Netherlands, the province of Friesland. From Spain, Catalonia, we have Axio, and from Italy, Afil from Lombardy region. Then from Slovenia, we have 2 partners, the Development Agency of Savinja-Šalek region and the Faculty of Environmental Protection. And we also have 2 partners from EU candidate countries, SIDEA from Bosnia-Herzegovina, and then Zhytomyr Polytechnic State University from Ukraine. So that is our partnership that has been working together for almost 3 years now. And the main thing that we're going to be presenting to you today is the roadmap we have developed together. And after that, we will hear different kind of case examples of what we have done throughout the years, what kind of cases, good practices we have identified, and what projects have maybe been born thanks to our common work in plastics. And also to end the event, we hear from a different kind of bio-based alternatives from Paper Province. But without further ado, I give the floor to another Johanna Ala-Kerttula from Council of Tampere region. Council of Tampere region was in charge of generating or coordinating the process of preparing the roadmap, and we will start with that presentation. And one technical thing, I hope that all speakers can stick to the time slot they were given, and if we can manage that, then we will have about 15 minutes at the end for questions and discussions. But already during when you're listening to the presentations, you can write your questions to the Q&A section. But now, Johanna, stage is yours.
Thank you, Johanna. So good morning, everyone, and nice to see that many of you have joined to our webinar today. My name is Johanna Ala-Kerttula, and I work at the Council of Tampere region, and I've been leading the project from there. And it's been really kind of like really happy to see that this theme plastics has been really interested in, and many of the partners have seen that this is something that we have to focus on. And if I tell you with a few words of the background of the plastics, because we started to develop this project already in 2018 with the other Johanna Vannes. And originally the reason was that this EU Plastic Strategy was published in 2018. And at that time, we saw that this plastic theme is really important, and it's something that we need to focus on in that time and, of course, in the future. And therefore, we started to develop this plastic project and saw that it's really important to understand where are we with the plastic circularity at the moment, but also to see how the future looks like. And these interregional projects, they also give us the possibility to see the development in different partner areas and different countries, and also develop new kind of cooperation around this. I will present you this interregional roadmap for plastics that we have developed in this plastics project. And it's kind of like a continuation. We started the project with a state-of-art study. So we saw how plastic ecosystems look like at the moment in our partner regions. We have also published this state-of-art, and it's really interesting report, and you can find it from our project website. But this is kind of like the next step that, and it helps us to compare kind of like where are we when we compare our partner regions development phases to EU strategy, plastic strategy goals, but it also tells us that how the future will look like and how it should look like. This EU strategy for plastics, the whole idea is to make plastics more circular, to enhance the recycling, curb plastic wastes in oceans and all over, and drive innovations and investments when it comes to recyclable materials, and of course replace plastics in materials where it's possible. And the big picture is, of course, to make EU more carbon neutral, resource efficient, and of course improve circular economy. And the idea of this interregional roadmap for plastics is to kind of like create the picture of and to see how these regions are responding to the EU strategy for plastics, and also kind of like make visible how we are boosting the transition into low carbon circular economy in our regions. Has been the consult in this project, and we have collected the information that is presented in this plastic roadmap, and we have collected it through these questionnaires that we have sent it to partner regions, and the results are shown you here. Just to remind you the goals of EU plastic strategy, it has 4 different big topics. The one is improving the economics and quality of plastic recycling. Another is curbing plastic waste and littering. The third one is driving innovation and investments toward circular solutions, and fourth is harnessing global actions. And what we did was that we made questionnaires related to these topics and find out how different partner regions have reached these goals. I will present you the summary of all our partner regions, how it looks like when we compare the improvements in our regions towards the EU plastic strategy first. And then we have also made our own roadmaps for each of our partner regions. And I also present you our Tampere region's roadmap, but you can find all the different roadmaps from this report, so you can see them to all our partner regions. But what we see on the right side is that this is actually the summary and tells us how we are proceeding and how we are achieving the EU plastic strategy goals when we compare and look our partner regions. So we are going quite far already when we look at the driving innovations and investments towards circular solutions. So most of the partner regions, they are quite far already there. So we see that there are innovations, there are cooperations between universities, research institutes, companies, public institutions. There are investments, and there is a will to make plastic circularity for real. Many of the partner regions are also seeing that the curbing plastic waste and littering, it's really important theme. Many of partner regions have already faced many and make many actions towards this. So, for example, marine littering is something that we have already seen from many of our partner regions that is a really important focus area, and as well as micro plastics. And of course, international cooperation, that is also seen that like these projects, they are bringing us together to talk about the plastic circularity. We can make a lot of programs and progress when we cooperate and share our informations, and also make new connections between, for example, research and companies from different countries. But there are also plastic recycling. That's a really important thing, but there are many things that needs to be still done. So that is the lowest level that when we compare all these 4 teams, that it's something that we need to focus on more carefully. Of course, we have done many things, but there are still challenges that we are facing. This report presents quite much details of how different our partners have faced these different topics when it comes to EU plastic strategy. For example, this driving innovation and investments. We see that, like I told, this is the top priority in many of the countries, and many have already developed this focus area in many ways. But we see that, for example, participation to EU projects is seen really important to get knowledge, and there are educational programs and policies that helps and foster these circular economy principles. But there are also really interesting innovations. For example, when it comes to digital product passports, chemicals recycling, bio-based materials, we have seen and heard many interesting cases from our partner regions that how these things have been developed already there. And of course, we are seeing also different kind of frameworks that helps us to bring innovations to market, and that is also, and we have many interesting stakeholder groups that are developed around the circular economy, for example, in Friesland. And I told you that the lowest level of development is the recycling of plastics. That's something that we see, and that is something that we talk about a lot. We have quite a high plastic recycling targets and for plastics in EU, and that is something that we want to develop further all the time. I was just in the Ministry of Environmental webinar that was telling us that when it comes to plastics in vehicles, that is also the thing, that plastics there needs to be recycled more efficiently in the future. And also we see that in many products the share of recycled plastics needs to be higher. But we are quite far when we collect, sort, recycle, especially municipalities' plastics, but we have still challenges when it comes to company plastics. We have a huge share of different kind of plastics that are seen in the waste sector, and there are still challenges to kind of like develop new recycling technologies that could efficiently recycle all the plastics that we are producing. But what we do is also the make plastics circular by design. So just to develop and make more recyclable plastics, and also, of course, look at the bioplastics. That's also an interesting focus area. And we have heard also a lot of development for that in our partner regions. But of course, promote reuse and reduce unnecessary plastics. That's also something that developing the packaging is one of the big areas that we can enhance this sector. But we also collect information that what partners are seeing really, what kind of concerns they see when it comes to plastics. And microplastics was one of the top priorities that is still something that we need to study. We need to make things and actions to prevent this. Bioplastics and compostables, standardizing them, and also harmful additives, chemicals, restricting them, and sharing safe recycling. And some sectors of plastics like construction, automotive, and e-waste plastics, they are long-lived, hard to recycle. Something needs to be done to them. And this was also collected kind of like, this is a summary of the most effective ways to ensure the implementation, monitoring, and continuous improvement in plastic circular economy in the future. This is kind of like a list to everyone that of course these topics are coming mainly from the EU plastic strategy, but this is also kind of like summary that we have found out when we made a questionnaires to our partners and they answered. So we saw that these topics are things that when we focus on these might actually improve the circularity of plastics. So we saw that financing, innovations, support, these are really important things. We need to have financial resources, innovation incentives, and legislation, binding targets. We saw that sometimes we need to push to make things happen. So legislation is something that helps us to do these. Local implementation and citizen engagements. We have community level actions, citizens' participations. Those also have a huge role locally. And also different kind of standards, certification, traceability that helps kind of like develop clear, reliable standards for collection, recycling, and also the traceability of plastics. It's something that helps us to make recyclability, for example, more kind of like clear and available and open. But there are also many other things, and I hope that you will find your own kind of like focus areas that might help and make these plastic area more recyclable and more circular. And I'm sure that everyone finds ways to also the new ways to kind of like improve this area by, for example, more focusing more, for example, to community level actions. So many things can be done, and I think these projects are a good example of that, how we can learn from each other, that someone has done something, but this needs to be still done, and we can always ask for more information and help that how you have made these things happen, and that's really important. We also collected all these different actions to actually this kind of roadmap, and we kind of like share these topics and actions to different time frames. So one is short that we can do quite quick, and then we have medium level actions 3 to 7 years, and long that we need to continue for a longer time. You can see that these are kind of like These 4 topics are the same then in EU plastic strategy, and then we have collected like all these actions are something that are actually connected to all our partner regions and kind of like upper level development goals and plans. But what is important, we can see a lot of this. I think that this focus is in many areas, but of course we are all interested in hearing and seeing, because, for example, in this recycling sector, many things are happening quite fast, and that is something that it's always interesting to hear and see also from different partner regions. The other thing is that, for example, this packaging industry and companies are more aware of that and how these packaging materials are how recyclable they are. Could we kind of like use them more efficiently, cut down the extra waste, for example, and of course how we can enhance the recycling also in municipalities. So we have a lot of things to do, but I see that this also the legislation of EU is also promoting us to and improving these areas, and they are also pushing us to make things more kind of like carbon free and recyclable, and also improve the recyclable material use in many projects in products. But what we did also was the make the own kind of plastic circular economy roadmap for all our partner regions, and I will also only present our Tampere region's roadmap, but we have these similar ones to all our partner regions. So just to remind you that the locations of our partners, and now we are here in Finland to show you how our roadmap looks like. So what we have now is that we see that Tampere is the, I would say, I think, 3rd biggest city in Finland, and the thing is that we are really strong when it comes to research, universities, cooperation between companies. We have a lot of manufacturing industry, a lot of companies that are actually also working with the plastic, so manufacturing different kind of plastic products, for example, to waste management sector. So we see that we have a strong focus in developing different kind of sustainable plastic products, but we are also seeing that this manufacturing side of Tampere companies, for example, they are trying to develop more sustainable products using recyclable plastics, for example, in their products. They are making a lot of research innovations, and that is something that we see in Tampere region. But we also have a really strong recycling and circular economy sector here. We have own eco-industrial park that is also collecting these kind of different kind of companies that are actually evolving to the circular economy together and trying to develop also. We have also, for example, the plastic chemical recycling company in this area, and they are together. They have the kind of like ability to develop also together the new solutions. But yeah, we also have similar kind of problems than all the others. So we have, for example, recycling companies, and they are, of course, trying to kind of like develop new ideas to how to collect, how to recycle, how to reuse different kind of plastic materials, for example, from e-waste sectors, as well as bioplastics. And also the construction sector is really something that we are focusing in Tampere region. Municipalities are together making kind of these kind of free contracts with the government, so they would trying to develop together the more kind of like the waste management of construction sites, for example, and also the kind of making construction more sustainable. So together with the universities, research institutes, companies, and city and municipalities, we are making progress in plastic circular economy. But what we also see is that I think that the most, if we look at the right side, we see that these different themes that we already are well known from the EU plastic strategy, we see that actually all these four focus areas are quite, let's not say far, but we are doing many things around them. So curbing plastic waste and littering, we are already actually in the quite high level, as well as innovation and investments, but we are still, of course, many things to do when it comes to improving the economics and quality of plastic recycling, as well as this harnessing global action. So let's say that we are proceeding in many of these focus areas, but of course we see that many things needs to be done. We have also kind of like scaled the future regional priorities in every region, and it doesn't mean that it's actually less important, but it means that it tells us that there are certain focus areas that are actually we are focusing maybe the highest kind of like efforts, and we see that is driving innovation and investments towards circular solution is something that is this highest priority in the future. But like we saw from all the partner regions, we have collected the same topics and same actions, not same actions, but at a similar way, the topics and the actions to all our partner regions. And this is our Tampere's roadmap. So when we look at, for example, the long distance themes and actions that needs to be done, is that future priorities are new packaging solutions, improving the efficiency of plastic waste collection. And of course, we have different kind of policies and national green deals. We have different projects that are kind of like developing this and improving the circularity of plastics. But of course, we have national kind of like strategies and as well as this new EU legislation that helps us to kind of like proceeding in these themes. But this is how our plastic roadmap looks like. So you get a view of the inside of it and also how it is constructed. So we have the kind of like the summary of all the partner regions improvements towards the EU plastic strategy, and then we have the own sections for each of our partners. So I will thank you, and I hope you will find also new ideas of from this new our plastic roadmap, and also kind of like have possibility to develop also these areas in your partner areas and in your areas. So thank you.
Thank you, Johanna. Thank you for presenting the roadmap. It's a quite extensive document. It will now, after this webinar, we will place it online on the project website, and you will also get it and all the other presentations via email. So then you will have time to look deeper into the general part of the roadmap, and then of course check all the other regions, because now Johanna only gave a sneak peek of what is happening in Tampere. Thank you. We move on to another presentation. Sergeja Poljanček is the next one, representing one of our partners, our partner region, Savinia-Šalek, and we will hear about what we have done to learn from each other, what kind of method we have used, and I think we have learned a lot. So, Sergeja, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me and see the screen? Okay, great. So as Johanna already said, my name is Sergeja, and I work at the development agency of Savinia-Šalek region, which is one of the 2 Slovenian partners on the project. And I have been a part of the PLASTIX project since May 2024. Today I will present you the PLASTIX Staff Exchange Program, which has sort of been coordinated by our development agency. It all started with a series of on-site deep dive visits, or OSDD events, within the project, which played a central role in strengthening interregional learning and cooperation. The main purpose of these visits was to combine an open seminar featuring presentations of regional good practices with field visits where participants could see these practices implemented on the ground. Importantly, the events were not limited to project partners only. In addition to partner organizations, stakeholders from all participating countries and regions actively joined the seminars and study visits. This ensured broad knowledge exchange and created valuable opportunities for dialogue between policymakers, experts, businesses, and other relevant actors. The first OSDD event took place in June 2023 in Tampere, Finland, and was organized jointly with the project kickoff meeting. It was hosted by our lead partner, the Baltic Institute of Finland, in cooperation with the Council of Tampere region. This event set the foundation for the entire learning process of the project. Then the second OSDD was held in November 2023 in Barcelona. Followed by the third visit hosted by us, so by the Slovenian partners, in March 2024. We continued with further deep dive visits in the province of Friesland in Netherlands in spring 2024, and later in Värmland and Lombardy in autumn 2024. Each on-site deep dive visit strengthened our understanding of regional approaches to plastic circularity and sustainability, while fostering mutual learning and long-term cooperation among regions. Building on the success of our on-site deep dive visits, we actively used those occasions to carefully plan the next important step of the PLASTIX project, the staff exchange visits. The purpose of the staff exchanges was to go even deeper into the regional state of play in plastic management, to further explore good practices, and to gain inspiration for upgrading our policy instruments. While the OSDD events provided a broad overview and mutual learning opportunities, the staff exchanges were designed as focused, tailor-made learning experiences. Our ambition was clear. Each region should have the opportunity to present itself in depth at least once. Based on the knowledge and impressions gained during the OSDD events, each partner selected the region they wished to explore more thoroughly. At the development agency Sasha, we coordinated this entire matching process. We prepared a joint table where each partner indicated what they expected from a staff exchange visit, which region they were most interested in visiting, and on the other side, what each host region could offer, such as fair conferences on circular economy, company visits, meetings with policymakers, clusters, and examples of good practices. We presented the results during the OSDD in Värmland. After a short discussion and voting process, we finalized the table defining which partner would visit which region and in what time frame. The final result was very concrete and ambitious: 7 staff exchanges in 6 regions. You can see the voting process, which may look a bit messy here on this photo. Then the first 3 staff exchanges already took place in May 2025. We began in Värmland, which was visited by partners from the province of Friesland. The focus of the visit was a deep dive into Värmland's innovation system. This region is covered by 80% forest and hosts a strong industrial ecosystem built around fiber-based materials, including packaging and construction materials. The exchange provided valuable insights into how bio-based industries, research institutions, and public authorities collaborate to create circular and sustainable solutions. The second staff exchange was in Tampere and hosted project partners and stakeholders from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Italy, and Ukraine. Participants received an in-depth overview of how the plastic circular economy is being implemented in the Tampere region and across Finland. Through expert presentations, site visits, and interactive discussions, the exchange showcased innovative practices, strong regional cooperation models, and practical implementation tools. The third and final staff exchange of the spring cycle was organized in Milan in the Lombardy region. It was attended by Slovenian partners. The program was designed as an ideal follow-up to the on-site deep dive held in Lombardy in November 2024, while also introducing new stakeholders and fresh perspectives. Over 2 days, we discovered numerous inspiring good practices and were once again impressed by the region's innovation capacity and strong commitment to circular economy development. This brings us to the autumn part of the staff exchange program. In September, we hosted the staff exchange in Sasha region, welcoming representatives from ASIOR, the Catalan Agency of Business Competitiveness. The first day was dedicated to exploring successful regional practices. We visited some of the region's leading companies in plastic management, including Hisense Interreg Europe, PSH Home Appliances Nazaré, and Plastikas Casa. We were introduced to their production processes, plastic management strategies, and innovative sustainable solutions. The second day, we continued in Ljubljana, where we attended the international conference Circular Economy Hotspot Slovenia 2025. We participated in discussions on solutions that combine environmental responsibility, economic competitiveness, and improved quality of life. The event positioned Slovenia at the center of global circular economy discussions and confirmed that sustainable development is not merely an ambition, but a necessary foundation for a resilient and competitive future. We were truly honored to be selected as one of the hosting regions among such strong partners. The visit of the Spanish partners confirmed that the Sasha region is recognized as a model example of innovative practices in plastic management and circular economy development. Shortly after their visit to Slovenia, the Catalan partners traveled to Värmland to further explore the region's dynamic work in bioeconomy, innovation, and sustainable development. The program combined company visits, presentations, and discussions, highlighting Värmland's strong position as a hub for forest-based innovation and circular business models. In October, the next staff exchange took place in Catalonia. Partners from Sweden and Italy visited the region and explored topics such as circular economy strategies, cluster policy, bioeconomy development, plastic waste management, advanced materials, and the use of digital technologies in plastic production and processing. The exchange demonstrated how regional policy, innovation, ecosystems, and industry cooperation can accelerate sustainable transformation. Last but not least, the final staff exchange was held in Friesland at the end of October. Partners and stakeholders from Sweden, Finland, and Bosnia and Herzegovina were highly impressed by Friesland's circular strengths, innovation capacity, and inspiring regional initiatives. Overall, the staff exchange program has proven to be one of the most concrete and impactful activities of the Plastics project. It transformed strategic discussions into hands-on learning experiences, strengthened trust among partners, and most importantly, provided tangible inspiration for improving our regional policy instruments. Through these exchanges, we were not only sharing knowledge, we are building long-term partnerships and shaping more sustainable regional futures together. So that was a short overview of the overall coordination and organization of the staff exchanges. If you are interested in learning more details about the visits and perhaps reading a few interesting anecdotes from behind the scenes, I warmly invite you to explore the PLASTIX website. You can read dedicated blog posts about each staff exchange experience. Please feel free to scan the QR code or follow the link provided on the slide. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Sergeja. That was a very effective summary of what we have been doing together. I remind you at this stage that if you have any questions or comments, then please use the Q&A chat box, and we'll get to those at the end of the webinar. Now we move on to Spain. We have 2 presentations coming up regarding good practices, good cases that we have also identified during the PLASTIX project. We will start with Maite Ardevol. She's a team leader of sustainability at Axio, at one of the project partners, and she will present to us Pro Axio Green. Maite, can you please try to share your screen and we see if it works?
Hi, morning. Yes.
Good morning.
To be here. Morning. Let me share. This is a brief presentation. I think the idea today is have an overview on how this program, this Green Innovation Program that Axio is developing, how it has evolved. So this is the main objectives. I don't know if you can see the...
Yes, we can see it, but not yet in a presentation mode.
Let me think. Let me check now if you see now in the presentation mode. Okay. So, and now let me check. Oh, hold on for a minute. Okay, so let's go. Well, the idea is to briefly present how this Green Innovation Program called Pro Axio Green. Now we have a rename of the program. This from last year, and we have changed the name of the program, and now is the naming is Green Innovation Program. But still in the structure and the services more or less the same. So as a quick overview of the program, then here will be easier. It's a program that offers grants and advice services, and also is trying to build capacity on green transition for business. And so we have different kind of grants and different kind of services. Last time that I presented the program, you have seen the different kind of grants. Today, the idea is to have an overview on how this program has his evolution. Just to point that this program is in collaboration with the Climate Fund of the Government of Catalonia and with the Waste Agency, because taxes for CO2 and taxes for waste, a part of the taxes are reinvested in research and innovation grants for business, and it's Axio that it's managing these funds and opening this call for business. So it's a collaborative project between our industry department and the environment department. As I mentioned, program offer advice services, grants, focuses in decarbonization and circularity. And we are using innovation and technology as a lever for green transformation. And also, as I mentioned, it includes different capacity building session as important part of the program. And these capacity building sessions and seminar mainly are focused on environmental impact and reporting tools for business, on new trends and legislation, and also for the dissemination of new green technological solutions. The focus in 25 and 26 has been manufacturing and industry, and green solutions regarding digitalization, water, energy, electrification, and critical raw materials. But plastics is still there as a big priority, and we work a lot with different companies with different kind of solutions, also with companies with different kinds of challenges. So last year in 2025, we have allocated 8.5 million euros in research and innovation grants, and we have almost 2,000, no, more than 2,000 SMEs attending the capacity building sessions. And to have an overview from since we started with this program, since 2021 to 2025, we have already we have developed 1,300 research and innovation projects. We have helped companies to develop 1,300 research and innovation projects on green transformation, on green solutions. We have had 50,000 SMEs attending our sessions, and so we have allocated 14 million euros in grants, and that represents almost 62 million of investment, public and private investment. If you want to see a little bit year per year the evolution, so, well, I'm sorry, I have year per year the evolution. As you see, well, we started with a small budget, as a very an initial almost 55 projects, but we have arrived around 350 projects per year, with the allocated budget as well. You have seen from almost 3 million to, well, last year was a little bit more, but from between 10 million per year. And the capacity building, the attendees in the capacity building session has increased as every year is increasing. So it shows that we have demand for this kind of services and programs that helping business to go through their green transformation, and as well for the advice services. So here you have the almost 30.9 million euros of allocated budget, and from this the contribution of the climate funds has been 22 million, and the waste tax 9 million in a specific grants. And I think that, as I mentioned, we continue this, and I think I show you that in my last presentation. This is the map of of grants that we offer to a business in Catalonia that wants to go circular, and we're still working on this kind of instruments. Axio is focused on green vouchers and developing innovation and technology. The Catalan Waste Agency is more focused on implementation of the circular economy. And last year also I mentioned that we wanted to launch a new services. It has been possible this year. In fact, 3 days ago we launched the Circular Economy Acceleration Services. That is a service that is part of a project of the European Enterprise Network. And to share with you that it's a service that main objective is support companies in transformation the business model to circular economy through innovation, through technology, and with trying to build with them new value change, circular value change. So we offer circularity diagnosis and individual roadmap, different collective sessions to try to identify the opportunities, the projects that are viable to set up. And then we have mentoring, individual mentoring per company to try to help to implement these initiatives, these projects. At the end, we will have an economic and an environmental impact. And the duration of the program is 24 months. And well, it's kind of test of this kind of how the program could help companies to implement, to scale solutions. But we have, I don't know if you have the same vision, but I think we have a lot of innovation, small initiatives regarding circular economy test, new technologies, but it's difficult to find full-scale implementation. So, and where we are trying if this kind of service could help to end the program with initiatives, actions already implemented, and have the measure for the environmental impact and the business side as well. So, and that's all for my side. And well, I remember you that we have the Green Catalog solutions. I leave you here the link if you want to explore business and Catalan companies, what they are doing in green transformation. And that's all. Here you have my contacts, and anything that you like to know more or more details on that, here we are.
Thank you, Maite. Thank you very much. I think especially coming from a smaller country and a way smaller region, the volume of this program is really impressive. And if anyone is interested in, like Maite said, learning more or maybe benchmarking and trying to create something similar in your region, you will get the slides and also Maite's contacts there.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Then we move on to Miriam Gonzalez. She's the technical cabinet member at the Ministry of Agriculture in Catalonia, and we will hear about another good case, EPC 2030. Go ahead, Miriam.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having us here today. I'm sharing this Catalan bioeconomy strategy as a good practice we share with the project. And as you can imagine, is more focused on all the bio-based area of your strategy, the strategy you explained before. The main thing I would like to say is that we see this strategy as the framework of the promotion of the substitution of fossil-based products with bio-based alternatives. This strategy is implemented with triennial action plans. When we met first, we were in the first action plan, but now, last year, we launched the second one. And maybe an important thing that happened in the last times is that the new Catalan government includes some projects some bioeconomy projects in these two Catalan plans, the government plan and the Catalonia Leads plan, seeing the bioeconomy as a driving force for the Catalan economy. It's like an upgrade of the point that make it attractive to more people. In the strategy and in the action plans, we are focused in this we say value chains. It's more than a value chains, but these areas, trying to boost them and these opportunities. We work with the improvement of forest management and the use of forest resources, the valorization of livestock manure and other organic waste, and as well the co-products or byproducts of the food chain, and an area more linked to the local landscapes. I want to underline that in the three first value chain, one of the pieces are the promotion of biorefineries that with the forest resources or the organic waste or the byproducts of the food chain. And this figure is linked with the production of bioplastics and another chemical products. To trying to concrete a little bit and to show you some specific projects, I would like to mention overall these three projects. The first one is the forestry hub of Catalonia. We opened last year as well this point of this facility to help overall little companies to transition from lab to fab. This word that the European Union says often. And here in this building, the little companies have the support for. There is a big area for timber building, but as well there is a laboratory where they could make this their essays about chemical products. So it's linked as well with bioplastic. The second one is that we are at the very beginning, but we are working in these specialized economic activities areas in bioeconomy, trying to boost some industrial symbiosis and putting together in the same place or really near different pieces of the puzzle to make it easy that in this case as well, the chemical use of products. And the third activity is frequent, but we are working as well in public procurement, trying to focus as well in the demand of the products that have an effect in all the change. And here to finish, I would like to, that in November, the Commission launched this new strategic framework for a competitive and sustainable bioeconomy. And there, the bio-based products have a very important place. So I know the project was plastic, and this is just an area, but for us, from the bioeconomy point of view, is very important to the substitution of these plastic products. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miriam. That's a nice quote to end with. And I think later on we will hear from Jessica a lot about bio-based issues. So maybe you two will have something to talk about after this webinar as well. Thank you, Miriam. Next up, we have a presentation from Italy from Samuel Nazareno Monaco, representing AFIL from Lombardy region, one of our partners, and Samuel will talk about what Lombardy region is doing in terms of plastics and also related policies in plastics project and beyond.
Yes, thank you, Joanna. My presentation, as you said, will be very specific on what AFIL is doing at regional level and the synergies with the Lombardy government and the ecosystem. So I'm sharing my screen. I hope you see it. Can you
Yes,
see?
perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. So my name is Samuel Monaco, and here you see just my name, but I have to mention also my colleague Eda Ipek that has worked on this project since 3 years with me, and also the other colleagues from AFIL team that have made a lot of activities possible, and maybe you will see them in other pictures in the rest of the presentation. So let me first explain very briefly what AFIL is to give you the context of what I will explain later. So AFIL is a cluster, one of the 9 technology clusters in Lombardy region, and it is the one related to research and innovation policy in the manufacturing sector. To work on this specific topic, we need to set up and maintain a community of members that are companies, universities, research institutions, and associations. And the aim is to work at regional, national, at European level through other initiatives, such the Italian cluster, the national cluster of advanced manufacturing, and other EU activities that you see here. This slide is just to show you where we are positioned. On the left, we have Lombardy region, which is our, let's say, main reference sector. And on the other side, the networks we take part and where we bring the, let's say, what we develop at the regional level, and at the same time, what we bring from the EU level. For example, PLASTIX is one of these cases of a double exchange of contents between the two, let's say, the two levels. How does AFIL work? AFIL has 7 strategic communities that are basically working groups on specific topics. In the center, you will see the one on advanced polymers, that is the one most related to PLASTIX project. This is a working group that was created in 2021 in order to respond to the needs and challenges related to the smart specialization strategy of Lombardy region. That, as you know, is a document that in every region is let's say, created to direct the ERDF funding, for example. And this working group addresses challenges related basically to intelligent materials and to, let's say, smart materials. So on the one hand, we focus on the composition of materials, and on the other hand of the properties that these materials can have, for example, related to plastronics. In this working group, we try to combine 2 different approaches, a top-down and a bottom-up, because we keep in consideration the regional priorities, but at the same time, we give, let's say, visibility, and we bring those the inputs from the bottom to an upper level. And those are inputs that are coming from our members that we consider stakeholders, so companies, RTOs, universities, and associations. And as said, this activity provides a continuous feedback from, let's say, from the territory to the government authority and other organizations that could be interested in knowing more from the, let's say, the ecosystem. And we think that this working group is a best practice that is easily replicable in other regions because it aims to bridge public institutions on one end and industrial innovation ecosystem on the other. What happened after 2021? Lombardy region, which is the regional government authority, has launched several policy initiatives that were aiming to support the industrial ecosystem. One of them in particular was the call for Lombardy value chains and industrial ecosystem development. It was launched in March 2022 and it is still ongoing. AFIL has decided to choose it as a policy instrument within PLASTIX and used it as a booster to make this working group evolutioning in something, let's say, more inclusive, because it was not then composed just by the cluster members, but also by potential ecosystem members from Lombardy. And so in this case, we you will see in the next slide what we did, but the aim was to try to pursue the aim that was behind the Lombardy region initiative, so interconnect enterprises with other research entities and organizations that were aiming to support economically the development of the territory. One requirement by Lombardy region was to have at least 10 enterprises on board, which in Afil case was not an issue to regroup together, but those enterprises had to have a common, let's say, common goals and for this project agreement. So what we did within the strategic community was to build basically a project led by Rold, with support by University of Brescia and Politecnico di Milano, with several activities and sub-activities where each of the partners that was included was, let's say, providing their contribution and was interested to further develop those activities through regional call for fundings that were launched by Lombardy region, that through this policy instrument was also aiming to give them a bit more of points in the evaluation procedure. So Afil did not do that just for the advanced polymer strategic community, as you can see in the upper right side of the slide, where the sustainable intelligent advanced polymer value chain is mentioned. But this work was also done for the other strategic communities within Afil, and you can see it here. You can maybe see them after when we share the slides. I would like to focus on the commitment by Lombardy region, in addition to the one by all the stakeholders that contributed to the strategic community and the work and the value chain activities, because Lombardy region is the associated policy authority for Lombardy in the project. And as said, since 2023, so since March 2023, when the project kicked off, has contributed to, together with Afil, to the improvement of this policy instrument through meetings and collection of feedbacks by the territorial ecosystem. But to do that, through Afil, the Lombardy region government has also maintained regular contacts that were on the occasion of PLASTIX activities, but not only those activities. Again, about the commitment by Lombardy region, two representatives from the government has participated to the OSDD in Catalonia. And then it was very important for us to have their full support in the organization of the on-site deep dive visit in Lombardy in 2024, and for the staff exchange that took place in the region the following year. And last but not least, to be mentioned, Lombardy region also supported Afil in the drafting of the Interregional Circular Economy Roadmap for Plastics that was presented by Joanna at the very beginning. So basically, my presentation is finished, but I want just to, let's say, put it a bit lighter, sharing a few images of the working environment that we have at Lombardy level. So this is basically the regional stakeholder group composed of the strategic community and the value chain that regularly meets 4 times per year. And the meetings are hosted by the stakeholders. Here we have, for example, Rold. We also have recently in Confindustria Varese. We will have in Centrocot. And this is the on-site deep dive visit in Lombardy, where Lombardy region hosted the opening seminar with the presence of the regional minister for economic development. And then this seminar was followed by on-site visits to Politecnico di Milano, Rold again, Cannon, Centrocot. And here, this is the last one about the most recent activity, where again stakeholders were heavily involved. As you can see, Rold, Centrocot, Lati, and we also had a visit in affairs. So we have very, let's say, very active commitment and contributions by the regional ecosystem for the purposes of this specific project, but not just for that. This is the final recap. You can see there was a great participation from the Lombardy ecosystem. Thank you. If you have any question, I'm available for that.
Thank you, Samuel. I think there's a lot to learn about the way you as a cluster work with the region in Lombardy, and we as project partners have heard a lot about it during the project years. But if there are any questions or comments, you can write them in the Q&A and or then even open your mic at the end. But let's go through the rest of the presentations now, and then we'll have time for the discussion at the end. Next up, we move to the Netherlands. I think the presentation was prepared by 3 persons: Esther Hofman, Tjeerd Hazenberg, and Yildu Merkus. I'm not quite sure how many of you will be presenting, but I hope at least one. So we will hear about the project called PLASTIX Ready, which is not a spelling mistake. I was told by Esther it's not a mistake, but I think during the presentation we will learn why it is the way it is. So Dutch colleagues, please take the floor.
Thank you, Joanna, for the introduction. I'm just figuring out how I share the screen, but it's not enough, right? Or
no, it's very small. If you put it in the presentation mode, I think now it's perfect. Go ahead.
No, okay. Well, thank you for giving us the floor. We are from the north of the Netherlands, and we are really happy to be here and to share our lessons learned from the project PLASTIX. My name is Esther, and together with Tjeerd Hazenberg, we are representing the province of Friesland. We are regional government from the north of the Netherlands. Today I will do the presentation, and I will start to explain a bit more about our position in the north of the Netherlands around circular plastics. And then Yildu Merkus from the Association of Circular Friesland will follow with an explanation about our new project PLASTIX Ready. She's from the Circular Friesland Association, and we have a strong cooperation with them, and they also played a huge part in the PLASTIX project. So we are also happy that she is here to present a part of the PLASTIX Ready project. We work mainly with 3 provinces in the north of the Netherlands, so that we have our own strength in every provinces, and so that we can pursue an effective circular plastic ecosystem. In the north of the Netherlands, we see a lot of energy and a lot of initiatives in the circular plastics. But what we also see is that the project initiatives are still remain isolated. So for us, it's the scaling up of the innovations and connecting of the existing innovation structures are still challenges. And that's why we also came into the PLASTIX project to learn from other regions about it, and from other regions to try to tackle these challenges. And what we saw the last couple of years in the PLASTIX project is that we got a lot of European perspectives, and then we also saw that also other regions that are have the same challenges as us. So that makes a really good common ground to talk and to discuss these challenges. But what we also saw is that there are already some bigger regions like Catalonia and Lombardy. They already starting tackling these challenges, so we could learn a lot from them. And they learned, for example, us that we should use a more holistic approach on innovations and to scale up them. And we also learned from the smaller regions like Vermland, who are more like us, that smart specialization is a really good tool to use on scaling up innovation, because they are using smart specialization where they combine policy and research, and that not only helps to justify the policy choice that we make, but it also helps us to keep into account the side issues like the shortage on the labor market. And then the lessons learned into practice. Our role as a province is to understand the bottlenecks in a region and to break through this fragmentation. And that's sometimes quite hard because we are dealing with a lot of organizations and a lot of stakeholders. But with PLASTIX, PLASTIX really helps us with that because we could benchmark with other regions who face the same challenges, and they could share the knowledge about tackling these challenges. And as I mentioned before, the holistic approach is what we also trying to put into practice in our region by we were looking for a project that we could put the different angles of the circular plastics ecosystem into one project, because we saw that could help scaling up the innovation. So, for example, first we only had projects that were focusing on technical innovation, or just on the policy, or just on the law restrictions, but now we're trying to implement them in one project. And the result of that is the Plastic Ready. And then, I will give the floor to Yilda before I tell more that I should. And Yilda will explain more about project Plastic Ready and why it's written with an E and not with an A.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Esther. So my name is Yilda. I'm from the association Circular Friesland. And as Esther said, we have close collaboration with the province as well as education organizations and the entrepreneurs in Friesland. What is Plastic Ready? It's a 3-year program in the north of the Netherlands. So what Esther also said, with the 3 provinces in the north of the Netherlands, Friesland, Drenthe and Groningen. And the project is for entrepreneurs, the government and education parties, in which we can co-finance innovations around circular plastics. It has started in the end of last year, and it will last for 3 years. So first I will elaborate a little bit on how Plastic Ready was established from the lessons learned, and afterwards I will tell about the plastic letters, so why plastic is written differently indeed. So from lessons learned to an integrated approach. So the north of the Netherlands has shown strong technological capabilities in circular plastics with several chemical clusters and recycling facilities. But what we saw in the past is that there were barriers as well, which led to the following lessons learned and on which Plastic Ready is built. So the first one is the need for multidimensional innovation support. So often what we saw is that innovation stalled not because of technology, but because of other aspects, such as policy or logistics or economics or social acceptance. So for example, there was no successful business case behind the technology, or certain regulations, such as food safety regulations, did not allow for circular plastics to be applied in certain products. Secondly, the importance of a strong triple helix governance and a shared vision. So this includes the government and institutional and educational institutions as a key factor to success, together with the entrepreneurs. Thirdly, we saw that the innovation structures were quite fragmented across Emmen, Heerenveen and Delfzijl, so within the different regions in north of the Netherlands, and this slowed down the scaling of the innovations. So in Plastic Ready, we create a North Netherlands-wide ecosystem instead to enhance this collaboration. And fourthly, Plastic Ready focuses on market introduction instead of technological aspects only. So many innovations struggle to reach market readiness despite promising pilots. And finally, already early in the process, we involve experts around policy, legal, logistics, and behavioral topics. So now we can move on to me telling about why plastic is spelled differently. So we use the plastic approach to evaluate innovations, so not only on the technological aspects, but also across other dimensions. So these dimensions are the different letters in plastics, and each dimension can be a barrier that limits the market introduction. And within Plastic Ready, we try to remove these barriers. So the first one is policy. So policy can, of course, be an enabler as well through the Packaging and Packaging Waste Directive. But what we also see that certain regulations or certifications, for example, around food safety, as I said, can also limit the introduction of circular plastics into the market. Secondly, logistic aspects around the supply chain or LCA-based designs. Thirdly, economics. So as I said, finding a viable business model can be quite challenging. And also, as I heard someone else saying as well, finding launching customer for innovations through procurement, for example, is also part of this letter. Thirdly, social acceptance. So looking at behavioral or societal considerations. And then technology. It's still with a capital, of course, because it's central in the innovation. And then the E from innovative design. So considering design for circularity and also end-of-life thinking. And then the C from corporate and community. So looking at governance and partnerships and also how an innovation can be scaled. So each innovation that is financed in Plastic Ready is assessed across these 7 letters with the help of experts. And this leads to a practical and broadly supported method to help prepare the circular plastics innovations for successful applications. So yeah, that was a short summary about the Plastic Ready method and the project that we're working on currently. And thanks for your attention, and also happy to answer some questions around this method because it was a short summary.
Thank you very much to both of you, and also to Tjerd, which I'm sure was somewhere in the background supporting you. We'll keep the questions for a while. We'll have one more presentation, and then I think because everybody has been so obedient with the time, then I think we have a good chance to discuss and go through some comments and questions after the last presentation. So last but not least, we have Värmland from Sweden and Jessica Edlum presenting. You can start sharing your screen, and I think we will hear about paper province's take on bio-based alternatives to plastic. So Jessica, take over the mic. We can't hear you yet. We can see you, but I think you're still unmuted.
Yes.
Not, yeah.
So,
no.
Hi.
Good.
Nice to be here. And I will, as you said, talk about bio-based alternatives to plastics. And first, a short background where I'm from, which organization I represent. It's Paper Province. Cluster that brings together and develops the entire forest value chain. And we are situated in Värmland in Sweden, but we operate within whole of Sweden. And we've been here for 25 years. And of course, part of the background is that industries within the paper and mill companies, they saw that they needed to work more together to heighten the bioeconomy, more or less. And one other part of the history is that we are covered with 80% of forest here in Värmland and 70% in the whole of Sweden. So we have a lot of trees, and we have a long history of working with what the forest can give us. We're also a member organization with 110 members from the whole forest value chain. And shortly about our strategy is to take society into the future with the help of the forest. And that is tightly connected with both the regional strategy, connected also to smart specialization, as you mentioned, Esther. And of course, also national strategies, as well as the EU bioeconomy strategy that we closely connect to. Our main focus areas are fiber innovation, and I will talk a bit about that and give some examples. It's also to increase circularity and resource efficiency, and we also work a lot with skill supply because we need a lot of skills and also people that can work within the industry, and then that there are also a big need of new skills like automation and AR connected to AI connected to production as well, and also material innovation. Then I will give some examples, as I said. A short introduction to why bio-based materials instead of plastics. So this is another take on the plastic project to see if plastics not only can be circulated but also replaced. And some short notes on why bio-based can be more environmental friendly. It's made of renewable resources, and resources that are growing back if we take care of the forest, of course. It's biodegradable, it's recyclable up to 7 or even 25 times. There is new research that says that it can be recycled up to 25 times. Before it was said 7 times, but at least quite a lot of possibility to recyclability. And also the production itself of bio-based materials and, for example, packaging, building products and so on, can lower the CO2 emissions compared to plastic manufacturing and plastic use. Just to give you some examples of how much the CO2 emissions and climate impact can be lowered. Here is the result from research that says that if you use a beverage or liquid board carton, you lower climate impact by 47% compared to 100% virgin PET bottle. And if you compare to a 100% recycled PET bottle, you lower it with 37% lower climate impact. So that's quite a lot. And that's also focus in these examples I will give you now that shows you what can be done within bio-based materials. And I will give mostly examples that are based on wood or fiber made from trees, but there's also a lot of other examples made from waste from food industry, for example. So I will focus on innovation that are going on within the industry and also that are going on within the industry in Värmland. And partly in Sweden. For example, 1/5 of all the liquid board packaging in the world comes from Värmland. It's made by Stora Enso and used by Tetra Pak. So there's a lot of packaging going out from this region. But these specific carton or liquid boards also comes with some challenges. For example, they have plastic barriers. So one focus from this industry now is to replace the plastic barrier that is needed for the liquid to not go out of the carton. It is to replace it with bio-based barriers instead. So there's a lot of innovation going on, both in research at universities and at different organizations to find other solutions to make these cartons totally fiber-based, to make even lower climate impact, but also to increase recyclability. That's also part of the PPWR, the Packaging and Packaging Waste Regulation, to make it easier to circulate. So within a couple of years, these kinds of packaging will be harder to circulate if they don't have bio-based barriers. We also see other examples when it comes to packaging material. I'll give you an example of the paper bottle, Pabocco, the paper bottle company that has made a paper liquid jar that is it looks like plastic, but it's molded in one piece, and it's really exciting. So there's a lot of things going on in this area. We also have another really interesting company called Blue Ocean Closures, a startup, but that now doing producing fiber-based, compostable, and recyclable packaging closures for many other companies around the world. It's going really fast for them. They're doing something that has not been seen before. A closure to, for example, medicine bottles. And the next step is to make the whole bottle, in this case, fiber-based. There's a lot of clean tech and food tech done when it comes to fiber-based. For example, by Cellcom, they're doing a renewable and compostable absorbent for food trays. Up till now, these absorbents have been only in plastics or partly in plastics. So they're the first one that has been able to do this solely in paper and made the liquid stay within the absorbent. But they also have challenges to be accepted in paper packaging waste, for example, because you may not want to, as a consumer, throw this maybe liquid or bloody absorbent within the paper packaging waste. But there are work done with this as well, how to solve that. We see other kind of absorbents, for example, this cellulose-based absorbent that absorbs oil and pollutants without absorbing water, and it is used within industry and within water cleaning and in oceans and in lakes. And they're also the first one that has been able to do this. So it's a startup, but they're now scaling up. We see a lot of plastics within the building industry, and there's also a lot of research done and product development within the building industry. These are fully wood-based, energy efficient and circular structural systems, and also load-bearing exterior walls made by Invoco, a Värmlandish company as well. They do a lot of innovation around new ways of not incorporating plastics in these kinds of structural systems, and also make it circular to reuse the same again and again. This is the first totally fossil-free preschool and school in Sweden. It's called Hoppet, the Hope, and they present 70% less climate impact than a normal school. It's produced by the Gothenburg city and a company called Derome that it's a wood manufacturer, but that has gone into more and more circular and fossil-free products. So there are also a lot of different buildings in Gothenburg city that are trying to be as circular as possible, and the Gothenburg city has also started their own recycle station to, when they bring down a school or industry building, they take care of all the material and then they can reuse it again. And also they try to reduce the plastic as much as possible. This is an ongoing example that it's a hackathon going on in Canada today, actually, yesterday and today, that Paper Province are doing together with Cribe, another bioeconomy cluster in Canada, and together with a company that calls Stellimar, looking for wood-based insulation for volumetric construction. And normally insulation is often plastics. So this is also a way of trying to find new solutions that reduces plastics and bring in fiber instead. Canada also has a lot of forest, I should say. We have, I will not take all the examples because I don't have time. This is a lead armature made from fiber-based materials. So this is also totally new. They're a startup, but they're starting to scale up and sell around Sweden for in the beginning now. We also in the region has, for example, a test lab called CircLab doing printing materials, partly or bio-based or using recycled bio-based materials. They are testing different kinds of materials within, for example, a project called Hexagon, where they test different kinds of material solutions, I would say, partly fiber-based or bio-based. To sum up, I will also give you some examples of more chemicals and more other kinds of materials that are tested and used. For example, lignin, it's a raw material that is waste from the forest industry. It can be used to create products like composites, chemicals, construction materials, energy carriers, coatings, battery materials, etc. A lot of innovation going on around lignin. For example, at the test lab Lignocity in this region. And there's also a lot of research going on bioplastics. I would finish to say something about bioplastics, of course, because we can still use plastics and we innovate around plastics as well. But in this case, bioplastics that comes from, it can come from different renewable sources like corn, sugarcane, but also cellulose and waste stream from the forest industry. So this is research done by Karlstad University, trying to do biodegradable polymers produced from residual streams, like from the biosludge from the forest industry wastewater treatment plants. And it's going well. They're not into products yet, but they are on the way to find new ways of using this kind of bioplastics. But bioplastics are also used in a lot of different ways today, like PLA, PHA, in waste bags or different kinds of products. So these are some examples of what's going on from the fiber-based and bio-based perspective in ways of reducing or replacing plastics. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. So many examples, so many interesting companies and startups. And we, as the plastics partners, have been lucky enough to see some of them live as well. So thank you. So far, nobody has dared to write anything in the Q&A box, but that is not necessary. I will just share the agenda with you once more so that you can see what we have heard and seen during the webinar. I think with the exception of Maite, all the speakers are still here with us. And even though Maite is away, we have other colleagues from Axio who can then probably answer the questions or comments if there are any. Anyone who would like to ask or comment anything, just raise your hand or maybe even just open your mic and go ahead. We have a lot of experts here. Maybe you want to comment something, maybe you have something similar in your region, or maybe something was unclear in one of the presentations. So, okay, we have the first one. Christina, go ahead.
Yes, hello, and thank you for this very interesting webinar. I work at Glava Energy Center, which is also located in Värmland. So we are kind of colleagues to Paper Province, but more towards energy systems, not so much towards bioeconomy. And my question is for the Dutch partners. I found it very interesting that you said that you were really also looking at how to improve the interregional cooperation and to kind of, come over those interregional frontiers and get the regions to work together more efficiently. What would you say is the most important what was the most important hinder or obstacle for you to overcome in that, and what was the most important measure that you took to get over this?
Thank you for the question. Is it Esther Yildu who will try?
Hi, Christina. Nice to see you again. We just had a conversation last week, but do you mean the interregional cooperation within the north of the Netherlands, or the interregional with other European?
No. Good question. No, I meant the interregional cooperation in the Netherlands.
Yeah. Well, we have all different strengths in the north of the Netherlands. For example, in Friesland, we are focusing more on the end of the ecosystem, so with recycling, and then Drenthe, for example, is more focusing on the chemical industry and the chemical recycling. So that makes us to combine those strengths so that we can make a bigger and a effective ecosystem with each other. But and then we have our own a policy, of course, like every province has its own policy. So that's that's always a hard part to go through. But then we saw it's important to have a combined governance and a combined organization that is leading the whole ecosystem, and that was what creating Greenwise Campus. It's an overall organization that is combining those strengths and that's leading the ecosystem in the north of the Netherlands. So we see that helps a lot to tackling the challenges and to come up with each other and to see each other and to talk with each other, and also talking about the challenge that we have. And also Greenwise is the lead partner of Plastic Ready, so that we have an overall organization that is taking up this project. That helps a lot in the north of the Netherlands.
Yeah. Okay. So if I could summarize that means that you had to have a clear picture on who has got which expertise, who is strong in which areas, and that you then try to come over the policy obstacles, and that you even at the end had one organizational body like the Greenwise Campus that combines, or where every region is participating and striving their projects with the focus on their own strengths or something. But you have a body that connects them in a way.
Exactly, yeah. And then also not forget the national things about the national policy and the national strengths. So that's also a big part to keep into account.
Yeah, I'm asking because we have I think the same challenge in Värmland and even with the neighboring regions. So that's why I'm interested.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your question.
Thank you. We have a couple of questions in the Q&A box as well from Maria Dolores, who used to work with the project with us until the end of the year, and really glad to see you're attending today as well. Maybe this is a question that any of the speakers can comment. What are the main barriers regions face when implementing circular plastic strategies, and how can they be overcome? I think, for instance, Johanna from Tampere region, you're involved also on national level with these issues. Do you have any instant comment, or is there anyone else who would like to start?
Yes, thank you. Good question. Let's say that our partner regions are a bit in different level of implementation of plastic circularity, and of course we also have own plastic strategies or own plastic roadmaps in some of our countries. So I think the main barriers they differ from partner to partner in different countries, but I would say that in the overall level, the challenge is that the kind of like finding the good, effective recycling methods to the plastic waste that we are producing. Of course, the ways of cutting down the plastic waste is also, we have heard many good presentations related to this, how to replace the plastic and also how to innovate, how to develop, how to study new ways of not just new materials to be used, but also to new methods and new ways of handling the plastic waste. But in the big picture, I think the challenge is kind of like finding all the relevant stakeholders together to proceed the certain way when it comes to plastic circular economy. We have a lot of actors that have an impact on the plastics, how much they are produced, how much they are used, how they are recycled, how they are collected, and kind of like how to get all those together to look forward the same road when it comes to circularity of plastics. And I think that is the challenge. We can make strategies, we can make roadmaps in the regional level, national level, but I think the question is always that who are willing to implement them and who is taking kind of like care that we are going to the right direction. And when it comes to plastics, it's not like a easiest way, because if you replace plastic with something, it's not always the carbon neutral, the choice or the wisest choice. There might be kind of like many questions to be considered when it comes to environment, when it comes to carbon free. I love the other project that presented also the social side and policy side. So you have to think kind of like quite carefully that what are the impacts if you change one thing to another, what happens then? So I think that is a good kind of like view to look at the circularity of plastics. So you take all these different angles of together and look them carefully. So there is no one answer, but I think that sometimes the technology is the challenge, the main barrier. Sometimes the kind of like our habits not to collect, recycle, separate the plastics. Sometimes it's just that plastics are a bit kind of like new thing when it comes to circularity. It's just been there. The European plastic strategies just came 2018, so it's not like many years ago. And now also the EU legislation and national legislation are looking much more deeply. The plastics and single-use of plastics are forbidden, and things are coming one after one. So I think things are changing, but it takes a bit time because we don't kind of like maybe understand also all the characteristics of plastics yet. So what are the impacts of them?
Okay, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Thank you.
We are on the right path. Did you want to comment? Sorry.
No. So only to say thank you, because as Johanna said, this is a multifaceted aspect, and there is social, there is legislation and regulation, there is technology and innovation, and is and could be managed all the things in a balanced mode. So it's not easy for regions, because sometimes regions have not the power to make some legislation at all, or to find some funding to do something. So it's not easy for region, but region are the first pillar to do that. Yes. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Good. That leads us to the other question you posed. How has interregional cooperation contributed to policy improvement in plastics management? I don't know, maybe if we now talked about interregional in the sense of different countries, regions in different countries. From our partnership, AFIL in Lombardy has already achieved some policy change in their region. Maybe Samuel, would you like to comment on this?
Well, yes, very briefly, as it was mentioned in my slides, the call for, let's say, selection of value chains was followed by calls for funding. And we basically provided some feedback from the potential beneficiaries to Lombardy region with the view to maybe modify some features of the call that maybe were not aligned to the trends or to the needs of the companies. So that was our contribution and our strict collaboration with Lombardy region with regard to the policy instrument.
Good,
Okay,
thank you. Then we have a question about money, so to speak. How can you work to ensure that companies are not only circular, but also competitive? And there's an example, like for instance, the high quality recycled plastics for the automotive sector is so high that companies have no doubt when it comes to buying virgin plastic instead of recycled plastics. Is there anyone from our speakers or presenters who would like to comment on that, how to make circularity also economically good for the companies, for the business? Nobody has the answer.
I think that is a big challenge when it comes to circular economy, because many raw materials, like virgin raw materials, are cheaper than recycled ones. And we see that in the construction sector, we see that in the manufacturing sector. There is no kind of like, well, there are, of course, solutions just to rise the prices of virgin materials. That is always the with the taxation or different methods. But I think this is a challenge. But I see that the legislation is boosting us towards this. So in the future, there is no allowance to manufacture, for example, cars without recycled plastics. So it means that in certain products, EU is going quite strictly towards that there needs to be a share of recycled materials used when manufacturing those products, and you cannot put on market anymore the products that are not fulfilling these strict legislation demands.
Yeah, that's a good point. Christina.
Yeah, I think also it's an interesting question, and I think right now the answer is if that is still the case, that the recycled material is more expensive and there's no legislation in place and no strong customer demand, that will not work. The companies will always choose the cheaper material because that's also what the whole system is, so to say, built on. But markets can change, prices can change, raw materials can change. And I think if we see that, then maybe also the price difference will hopefully decrease. And that makes new materials more attractive for companies. But I think as long as it stays like that and the gap is so wide, it will be very difficult to argue for other materials.
Sad but true, but I think there is hope, and of course it also starts or applies to us as consumers, as persons who can afford to take the more expensive version from the shop. If you're scarce on money, I mean, then you will choose what you can afford. But let's hope that it changes both for the business and for us individuals. Any other comments or questions still? If there's nothing, then I will give the floor to Esa Kokkonen, the director of the Baltic Institute of Finland, to say some closing remarks. But before he takes over the mic, I would like to thank all our speakers, all our presenters today for interesting presentations and openings, and also for everyone who joined in today to listen. And as I said already earlier, you will get all the materials via email, and the roadmap, the sort of the main one of the main outputs of our project will be available as well. But Esa, go ahead and say what you have in mind after this 2-hour webinar.
Great, thank you, Johanna, and thank you all for very interesting presentations and very active wide participation from all partner regions. Yes, my name is Esa Kokkonen, and as Johanna mentioned, I'm director of the Baltic Institute of Finland, and being also involved in plastics in preparation in cooperation with Johanna, and also joining many of the project joint events, and really happy to have had a chance to learn from all the partners. And first of all, now when we are now in this final stages of the project, and having a chance of having this kind of updates on circular economy of plastics in all partner regions in this very important topic. And now, like today's event showed, that we have a very interesting and strong European partnership. And this, I believe that this topic is a great example of a topic where European cooperation also matters. That these challenges and opportunities are equal in all partner regions. And of course, we have different assets and still differences in our ecosystems, but still, I think that the plastics is a good example that when we join forces and collaborate, so that also can be a very important a driver towards circular plastic economy and towards and in line with the related key EU strategies. And like today, all the presentations from our core plastics activities, the roadmap and staff exchange program, and of course all the interregional learning we have had. So I think that this that this kind of a peer learning from your colleagues and learning from your partner organizations, the regional authorities or innovation agencies. So that really matters also in this topic. And I believe that also that we have, by working closely together, meeting frequently, we have built also kind of a lasting international partnership here. And we hope that in connection with these regional policies that have been addressed and tackled in this project, and in connection with the initiatives and instruments like Plastic Ready or Pro Axio Green presented today, I hope that this kind of a interregional European cooperation can be an important element in these regional initiatives and instruments presented today, also after the project. And of course, this challenge remains. There's still a lot of work ahead. This is still very early steps where we are, and we are sure that in future EU policies and financing instruments in next program period from 27 onwards, there will be opportunities for us to collaborate. And we hope that all you stakeholders from different partner regions, that you have also learned and from the other partner regions and created valuable networks to be utilized in your future projects. And yeah, that's maybe all. I thank so much all of you for today, for presentations, and for all the partners for great collaboration. And we of course still continue the project in its final phases. But anyway, we also start looking at the future opportunities, and really look forward also to new projects with all of you, and meeting you all also soon again. But thanks on my behalf, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you all. I just got a text from other Johanna Vannes. She wanted to send you greetings. Unfortunately, she skipped off from this meeting in the final minutes, so she's not able to say you goodbye anymore. But I want to thank you also on behalf of me, that this was a really good webinar. Nice to hear all of your presentations, and we're definitely keep in touch when it comes to this project. And also I hope that, because you have also very interesting other projects, so it's also nice to hear maybe in the future more about them. So thank you on behalf of me and also on behalf of Johanna Vannes. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Johanna,
bye.
Closing words.
Thank you.
See you all.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.